Welcome back, friends, to the shop. Today's video is made possible by our friends at EcoFlow. Now, EcoFlow is building these small backup power generators, or some people are calling them solar generators. I've been using this little one for about a month now, and the big one, the Delta Pro that I did a video on, I guess last summer, has almost completely replaced my Honda 2000. This technology is really cool because you can recharge it from multiple sources. I can recharge these from my car. I can recharge them from solar panels. And what it gives me is just a portable power system to handle all of those consumer electronics that we have to deal with. Like when we go on a family road trip now, like in my truck and we're not taking camper, that sort of thing, this is an automatic. This just goes in. This is powering Jack's computer when he's doing homeschooling. It's recharging our phones. It's a backup power for if I need to do the battery charger. It's just absolutely become essential. We're going to be taking a look at this today, and these smaller ones are really a nice option for folks that maybe live in apartments or live in the city that are concerned about having a backup power supply where a generator or a traditional gas generator is just not really a good option. This, of course, is the big Delta Pro. And this sits on my workbench right here, and I use it all the time. When I need a power supply, I can run my welder off of this. This is 240. It's got a lot of power. The cool thing about the little ones is it shares a lot of the same features with the way that it recharges. And I'm going to go into this. We're going to test this today. I'm going to show you how it can charge with solar. You can charge it with your car, and how this might be an option for just kind of a small home appliance emergency backup option at a pretty affordable price. Let's take a look at all of the interfaces before we put it through the test. Now, starting from the top down, I guess the overall weight, this is 6 pounds, and it's got a handle on the back. And as I said, whenever we go on the road or anywhere, I just grab it. We just take it and we use it all the time for charging. There's just so many electronics in our lives these days. So the side over here is kind of set aside for, these are going to be the charging ports right here behind this door. So we've got an option to charge right here with 110, as well as solar, and then our 12-volt power port, which we'll charge here in the truck in a minute. And that's behind this cover. We've got 2 outlets up here. We can go all the way up to 300 watts you can run. So this is going to run small consumer appliances. Like, what does that mean? It's going to be like your Wi-Fi router, laptops, smartphones, TVs, that sort of thing. The other cool thing about this is if you're in a situation where the power, like where we live in the country, the power, sometimes it'll go off and on during storms. And if you're trying to upload YouTube videos or you have something that's critical, a project you're working on with your computer that you just can't have fail, you can plug your router or computer into this, and then this into the wall, and this has a special transfer switch just like the big power units that will automatically transfer over so you don't miss a beat. So it'll keep your router going. So that's really cool. And the other thing is when this is plugged in, like to your truck or to an AC unit, while it's charging, you can use the power ports, and that's not always the case with all of these. The first couple that I had from another manufacturer didn't do that. Over here, we've got our USB ports, just our standard, and then one USB-C. The important portion about this USB-C here is that this is 100 watt. What that means is if you've got like a MacBook Pro that requires really high power, you can power a full laptop, a new one, off of this. Not all of these are high power. We've also got a 12-volt, traditional cigarette lighter type of power plug. If you have some, small inverters or different appliances, I've got a lot of stuff that run off these as well. And then, of course, when you turn it on, you get all of your interface. Also, on the top is wireless charging. So if you have a newer iPhone or style phone that charges that way, you simply lay it on the top, your AirPods or whatever, it connects and charges automatically. So that's kind of a cool option as well. And then over here, finally, is a fan. Let's go look at our charging options. To charge the River Mini, just like the big ones, we've got 3 options. Now, the quickest way is going to be with the AC wall adapter. That's going to charge this unit in, I think it's 80% in 1 hour. So that's really handy when you're on the road, because typically we can find a spot where we could plug it in. If we go to a restaurant in the wall, usually about the time you eat, you almost have a fully charged. 1.6 hours for a full charge. But there are 2 other options as well. As you're going along in your car, if you've got a regular cigarette style or PowerPoint adapter, that's going to charge as well as the solar option. So I just keep all these cables in just a small little bag and just bring it along with me. The charging is pretty straightforward, as I said, behind the door here. When we plug in our AC adapter, this is going to be for our solar or our 12-volt charger. Right here, once this boots up, it's going to give us the exact time to recharge and the percentages. Now, you'll hear the fan. There's a little fan that's going to keep it cool on there. The noise on that's about 40 decibels, so that's equivalent to like a library, but it's not on all the time. It cycles on and off, and you don't really notice it all that much. When we're on the road, I charge with just the 12-volt power plug here. So just plug into your cigarette lighter adapter, and this goes in here, and now we're charging full time. And I know a lot of the newer cars are going to have some of the USB ports and different things built in, but few of them have enough power to run modern laptops and such. Now you have a really robust power system that is charging. And right there you show it showing there we're going to be charging in 26 minutes. I found even with jacks all this stuff on there and our phones charging, that the charge is always more. We're always gaining ground rather than losing. And if you want to take it with you out for a picnic or just power something up, you just unplug it and you just really have a handy little unit to go. Let's check out the solar panel. That's my favorite part. This is really my favorite part of the system, is to be able to charge with the solar. Now this is an incredible 400 watts of solar panels in a small bag. Now this is from my big Delta Pro, but once you're into this ecosystem, if you have a big one and a small one, everything's going to be cross-compatible, and you have the ability now to charge all of this stuff and keep all of your electronics and all of those important things going without any inputs from fuel. Now that I have wanted to get solar, I'm going to try to open this up here for you. I've wanted to get a solar system for the house, but I don't know, it's just, I don't really know how to hook it up, and it's always been, I just haven't got around to doing it. And then you're kind of stuck with it. You can't really take it with you anywhere. That's what's cool about these guys. This folds into a 400 watt panel with the same plugs that we had, just like in the truck. It's going to charge the big ones, medium ones, or small ones, all of them. Now we're not dependent upon fuel. We can it's just unlimited the amount of times you can just keep charging this just by putting it outside. And once we got the solar panel folded out, cable comes with it. These are all the same, the big ones and the small ones. You just plug into that. Now these waterproof connectors are going to be compatible with the solar panel. So you don't have to worry about gas, you don't have to worry about noise, drawing attention to ourselves. Right there, now we're recharging our unit. That is a very cool capability, and the fact that you can use that solar across all of them, from the big ones to the little ones, is an amazing capability. That gives me a lot of peace of mind, because just for example, in our area, and some things to consider, this winter, if we get into snowstorms and start losing power, just our particular case, we've had almost all of our snowplow guys are no longer on the job. And there's a lot of concern. How are we going to get fuel up here? How are we going to be able to get power? What happens if the power company can't get up here because the snows are not plowed to fix power outages? So a person wants to think about these things and make sure you're prepared. Remember what happened to the folks in Texas last year, and a lot of people were really caught on the heel and didn't have something like this to be able to keep your radios charged, your flashlights charged. I mean, if you've got the bigger units, you can run some small heaters and things. This is something that's really important. The more that we need to rely upon our own wits, having this capability where you're not dependent upon anyone to bring you fuel, propane, or anything like that, where you can recharge yourself on a sunny day or even an overcast day if you're not in a big hurry, is a tremendous capability. Let's try a little stress test here. These are some things that I would want to charge in an emergency. We've got a 4 AA anti-loop batteries. That's going to be for our flashlights, radios, a million different things. That's we'll put that on there. Get that guy charging. Let's say we're going to put our Bofang radio. Maybe we want to charge that up. Got that going right there. And then the 100 watt for the USB-C, that's going to be able to charge your laptops. And that's charging. And then kind of a nice bonus, we've got just the sit on top charger for our iPhones or whatever, the newer phones, and now that's all charging. Here you can see all 4 batteries are charging. We've got iPads charging, the Bofang, and the phone on top. That's really handy. I use that all the time. Just be able to sit something on top that's pretty nice. And plenty of power to spare there. So 42 watts going out. And we've got 3 hours of charge time, and we're at 85%. The app is pretty cool. You've got your individual connections there. So there's the Delta, there's the River Mini that connects right away. And it just gives you the ability to control the unit from your phone and to see it. Not so important for me on the little one as the big one that I have hooked up, like when we're using the camper and such. But just to be able to get a glance, you know, from wherever you're at, you can see your levels, your temperatures. You can see the USB, which is charging the iPad Pro there, is coming out at 18 watts, and just gives you some customization, some tracking. There's also an X Boost feature on there, so this will power up to 300 watts if you have like a power tool, like a power drill. It's kind of handy for things you don't have that are, tools that you have that are not cordless, so you can use them in a remote location without just dragging a bunch of heavy generators and all that. Even for just small jobs like this, you can plug it in and you can go and you can get stuff done. I really do like this little unit. It's just a handy thing to grab. When we were on our Wobder Trail, Brian and Jack and I, we rode our dirt bikes up to Canada. This was the first thing that came out when we would set up camp. We were plugging in our Bluetooth headphones, we were plugging in our phones. It was just absolutely essential. It's incredible how many devices, power-hungry devices we have in our modern lives. When you don't have an ability to charge them, you find out really quickly. We take for granted that we can just always plug into a wall, but that's not always the case, especially in winter. I'm very happy to have EcoFlow. They've been great supporters of the channel. I want to do some more stuff with them in the future. I want to find a system, you know, something, maybe even do a video on an intermediate, something that's kind of in between the big Delta Pro and this one, that would be a little bit more suitable for some big power drains for maybe a couple day power outages. But they're nice units, and I use them all the time. I just love this technology, and to be able to be free of a gas power generator and all of the noise and everything that comes along with that. And sometimes, you know, situations, it's just better to be discreet, especially in campgrounds. I just hate to have a screaming generator run, and sometimes you don't always want to draw attention to yourself. So that's it. EcoFlow is offering up to $650 off on their product line. I'll put a link down in the description. This might be a great gift for someone. It's something that you'll grab and go and you'll use all the time. I would start with one of these, and if you like it and you like the quality as much as I have, you might want to even look at getting into a bigger unit just to have around the house for those times when we go without power, because you don't need to. This with the solar panel just gives you the ability to keep all of those vital appliances and things running. Internet routers. You know, for us, if the power goes out, usually the internet's not out if we can get power to the router, because we have Starlink, and a lot of folks, your internet will come across on the cable or the phone line. So if you can plug into this and just get your router plugged in, even though you don't have power to the house, at least you have internet. That gives you the ability to stay informed with what's going on, current events, news, contact loved ones, let people know you're safe. So even a little unit like this, as small as it is a very smart thing to have for those of you that are prepared-minded. But seems to me anyway. I definitely like having these little backup generators around. They're very handy. Thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.